Hi and welcome to this video. This is a very special video because I have a very special guest, Effi from Effi Summers Creative. She makes YouTube videos all about visual branding for musicians, and she has a lot of great tips and help for all kinds of creatives really. And also her videos are super fun and she has a really bubbly personality and also a really cute aesthetic. So you should check out her videos and also her Instagram and her website where she has more info on what she offers. But I thought it would be really interesting to interview her for this channel, to ask her about her job and her inspirations and everything else. And she also interviewed me on her channel. She has a series where she talks to musicians about their visual brand and stuff. So that was really fun, and you should check out that video as well. I will link both her channel and that video in the description beneath this video. Okay, so I'll just go into the questions. Hi Effie, thank you so much for being here. Could you please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what you do?
Hi Ida, thank you so much for having me on your channel. I'm super excited to do this. So hi everyone, my name's Effie and I'm a creative director and I work predominantly in the music industry. So I do work sometimes with businesses and freelancers and take on other projects that are a really good match for my style. But for the most part I work in the music industry. So I work with artists and bands to create their whole brand, mainly visuals, so logo design, overall aesthetic, website build, making sure everything is cohesive throughout and that everything really reflects them as an artist and their music super authentically. So I also do some brand consulting. That delves into the sort of strategy side a bit more and into things other than the visuals, so like communication style, their values, really basically figuring out who they are, who is their authentic self as an artist, and how we can make everything match that and everything align with that, from release plan, social media strategy, the whole shebang. So I'm based in Copenhagen. I'm British, obviously, but yeah, I'm based in Copenhagen, Denmark. And I work on a freelance basis. So yeah, work with artists and businesses, and yeah, super fun.
My second question is, how does one become a creative director for musicians? And that kind of means, tell us a bit about your journey.
Okay, this is a really good question. For me, there are a million different paths. I know like people that I know of, like further on in the industry, have come from like a choreography background or lighting design. So there's production design, so there's like a real range of people who end up becoming creative directors. For me personally, I knew I always loved music and the industry, but I also loved the visual arts, and I didn't really realise that I could put those together for quite a long time. So sort of as a teenager, I studied always art, textiles, as well as music performance, because I also loved playing. And then at university, I did fashion media and promotion, and then I did my first years in that, and then for my third year of my degree, I switched over to music business and management. So I really got the whole kind of perfect educational pie, if you will, for what I do now. When I left uni, I ended up designing for a fashion brand, which is very, if you see them, it's very my style, so it was a good match there. And then I did some graphic design and branding, like in an agency environment, and then I actually started a music tuition business as well, like a music school. And yeah, I just sort of went with the flow really. I didn't feel like I had much time to stop and plan and think. I just sort of went with what happened kind of authentically. And then when I moved to Denmark, I thought, okay, now is my time. I've got all this experience under my belt. What do I really want to do with this? And then I launched my business just over a year ago after doing like some ad hoc creative stuff here and there. I thought, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm focusing on the music industry, and anything is a good match for my style. And I'm doing this. I'm a freelance creative director, and here we are. And it's gone really well so far. I'm really excited. Everything's moving quite fast, but in the right direction. So all good. But yeah, I think for anyone who wants this kind of career path, then there's no right or wrong. I think there are more courses now at uni that cater to this kind of career, but when I was at uni, I had to kind of like pick courses from everywhere that like made up a good basis for my education. So there's no like right or wrong. Each path is your own.
And what is your favorite thing to do in your line of work?
My favourite thing to do, that is a tricky one because I really love variety. Variety is the spice of life. Even when it comes to like working from home and then some travel, like I literally need variety. So I like having a good range of projects, of different projects. But I think my favourite thing, so at the moment I'm working on a regular basis with an artist, and it's more on a retainer rather than a one-off project. So I do 5 hours a week, and I work with him doing consulting and also like brand consulting to really find his authentic self, and then also working on creating visual worlds for each of his releases. So I get to like really do the research on concept and create those visuals and then actually implement them as well and direct some other team members, so we really bring those visual worlds out. So I think that at the moment is my favourite because I get to dig so deep into it and really like just really get stuck in, I think. So yeah, I think working like on a regular basis with an artist to really really create these visual worlds and then shape them over time as well has been really, really fun. So if I had to pick one thing, it would be that. But I do like having variety. I love doing that. I'm doing at the moment some artwork illustrations, and I'm doing some logo design and some social media campaign planning. So it's really nice to have like all those different things on the go at once.
And how easy or hard would you say it is to find a visual identity for a band or an artist? And how do you go about it? Do you base most of it on the music, or do you use other aspects of their work or personality or something?
Okay, so some artists easier than others. So sometimes I'll look at an artist and I'll be like, right, okay, they've got this foundation, and then I can literally build and develop that further. A lot of the time it's about, they have like they're like 60% their authentic self, and it's basically pushing them to 100%. Like, do more of that, be more you. That's usually what my job is, to draw out that extra 40%. But some artists are a complete blank canvas, or some are brand new and they're like just so into the music and they don't have maybe their own fashion style or anything yet. So for the more blank canvas ones, then it's a longer process. So my process is basically I just quiz them. I look at what they've got so far. If anything, this could be one rough demo, or it could be loads of social media channels, a website and 2 albums. It just totally depends on the artist. So I basically look through everything as much as possible, listen to their music, and then ask them loads of questions. Some of these questions go from across the board, and then some are just related to that artist specifically. And then from their answers, I then put together concepts. So again, this may be like there's one obvious concept there that I'm just, building from. But for the more blank canvas ones, there may be 3 different concepts, and they pick which one they like or which one they resonate with the most, or they might be like, oh, actually, can we take this from this one and this from this one? It's all, I make sure it's all super authentic. I wouldn't ever give an artist something and be like, you have to do this, because I think it would work. Like, it has to, if they're not liking it, then it doesn't work for me. They have to be their true self. Like, that's the whole point. So my job is basically to draw that out, and then take it further and create visuals that then they're like, yeah, I like it. I feel like that's me. So yeah, and then some are quicker than others. Like, some will just, instantly like, yeah, that's me. And then others, they're not sure and it takes a little bit longer, but that's fine. Again, I try to cater to the individual as much as possible, because everyone is so different anyway. And then specifically with music artists, they've all got their own things. And yeah, it has to be super authentic. So yeah, it's a fun process. It's fun. I get to know so many different kinds of artists, like all different genres. Like, it's super fun hearing what people say, hearing what they care about, seeing their own like visual influences and inspirations as well, that I can then use that to draw upon. So yeah, so it's all good. Oh, just to add on to that as well, yes, it always comes primarily from the music, but also from their answers to my questions, and these will be about their values, like how they communicate, who they think their audience is. I cater a lot of different things into it as well. So obviously it always stems from the music, but there are additional factors, and even like their own personal style, their personality, that all has to come into it as well.
And then I have a question that I've been really curious about. Do you also make music yourself, or do you get inspired to make music when you work so closely with musicians?
I actually don't make music myself. I know this might be weird. I know a lot of like music marketing people or businesses are an artist as well, and they do music on the side. I actually don't make music. I do play instruments. I play ukulele, guitar, bass, piano and drums. But to a very average level, all of them to a very average level. And I can read music, and I can sit there with a piece on the piano, like a really complex piece, and I can sit there for ages like figuring it out and learning it. But at this current time, like I used to do that a lot when I was younger, and now I just don't have the patience for it. Like I've become much more of a visual person. I find like learning by ear really, really difficult. I feel like one sense has been heightened and another's been diminished. But yeah, no, I love listening to music. I love going to gigs. I love playing just for fun and like singing. I'm not a great singer, but I do love singing. But yeah, no, I've found my groove, I think, and yeah, it feels much more natural. I always struggled, like I always wanted to learn to play by ear and like write songs and stuff, and it just never gelled for me. So yeah, it's weird, isn't it? But there we are. But I also get really excited when I like see or hear a new artist that I really think has potential and is really doing something different. So I think like there's an element of like A&R in there as well that I like. I feel like I can really recognise potential in an artist, and that I really get excited for that. But I also feel like that frustration of not being able to like write those songs or create that music. So yeah, it's a weird one.
Could you name some personal favorites or inspirations when it comes to music? Someone whom you like the music of, but who also nails the visual side of things?
Okay, so I really love all genres, and I know people hate it when people say that, but I was very much brought up on like country, and then I went to like pop punk. I really enjoy like musical theatre and like some hip hop, like literally, even like classical, like piano I love, like literally all the genres I really appreciate, and I have a love for all of them. But I think I always do come back to just really good commercial pop. Not just like anything that's whammed out on the radio, but like really credible, good pop artists. So in terms of who inspires me like musically and visually, Harry Styles, Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish, I think are the three at the moment. Also Sia and Lizzo. Those five, I think they're pop, but they're so good. And their visuals are all so on point, their image, they're so comfortable in their authentic selves. And I think that always comes through within the music and everything they do, whether that's social media content or performance. Like I think, yeah, the 1975 as well. I know you mentioned that, Ida, you love them too, yeah. Again, their visuals are great, like their visual eras. And I love their music as well. But I think actually musically I would say the others over the top of them for me. Controversial. But yeah, all of those equally for music and visuals I think are on point. Yeah, amazing stuff. I love it.
I think your visual profile online is super cute, and it also seems really authentic to yourself. So I was just wondering how you kind of developed that.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think this style has been with me since I was a kid. It never really grew up. I've always loved just like cute, quirky, colourful, bold things. I've always been inspired by different things, whether that's like a cartoon TV show or an art sculpture. There's always been things like that have just drawn me in. So I think I've always felt very comfortable in my authentic style, and I think that's partly what has allowed me to do what I do today. I feel like I want to find that for others. But yeah, I think in terms of it was very easy to just go with my authentic self. Like there's a lot of slick design agencies that if people want them, then fine, that's a good match for them maybe. But I knew that there's no way I'm going to compete with that. And that the only way to do this was to do it my way. I'm not going to sing Frank Sinatra, that's fine. But yeah, it was super easy. I've always had a really defined sense of style. Even fashion, like from when I was a kid, I just knew what I liked and I went with it, and I didn't care whether it was on trend, and I didn't care whether other people thought it was silly. Hence my office. So yeah, that was just a really natural thing. It hasn't, I guess it has developed, and I think specifically on my Instagram, which I love Instagram for just playing with creativity. I do some work promo on there and I share some work, but also it's a space where I get to be creative and just have fun and experiment. So if you scroll back on my grid a little bit, there is like I played with some black and grey, like gritty kind of stark aesthetic. I also played with like images, like sets of 3 images in like a little series. So I play with different things, but I think it always comes down to my style, which is bold, colourful, vibrant, fun. Yeah, and I guess it has developed over time, but not loads. It's still always been there.
And lastly, thank you so much for letting me interview you. I was just wondering if you have a new project or kind of a business deal that you think people should know about.
Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed this collaboration. I loved your answers on my interview as well. Yeah, I can't wait to chat to you more. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so I recently released a course, a branding course. It's called Create Your Universe, because that's what I feel authentic branding is. It's creating this whole universe that is yours for you as an artist and your fans. And it's basically a 20-step branding course. So I give you step-by-step of what you can do to build your own authentic brand. I give you examples, I set you tasks, and it just gives you a really good kind of like foundation and idea of where you're at and where you want to go, but it's super affordable. So I wanted just to create something for artists that didn't have the budget for like one-to-one services, but hopefully it will still bring a lot of value as well. So I've got that course on my web shop and it's just $35 US. So yeah, feel free to get that if you think it's helpful. I do have a couple of the first steps outlined in videos on my channel as well, so you can get an idea of like the kind of direction it goes in and the kind of style that the tasks are set and stuff. So yeah, check that out if it's something that would be helpful to you. And thank you so much again, Ida, for having me, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye!
So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you got some helpful tips or some inspirations. Remember to check out Effi's channel and other places on the internet in the description box, and subscribe to her channel, and also remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed yet. I post a lot of music content and tips and tutorials for independent musicians, so you might like that. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and that's it. I hope you'll have a really nice rest of your day, and I will see you very soon. Bye!